Hello! Welcome to the Polyglot Files. My name is Michael, and I clearly have a problem. I don't even know how to organize this in a way that is not going to be overwhelming for those who are watching it right now. For today's video, I thought it would be cool to look at my language learning bookshelf. I don't necessarily have a full shelf for all my books, so instead I thought we would do a language learning book pile. Before I get started though, I did want to say that today's video has been sponsored by Linguistics. If you're like me, you're currently facing a summer where you will probably be spending majority of it inside because of the COVID-19 virus. But what if I told you you could spend those 3 months of summer doing a 3-month language learning challenge from Linguistics and get a 100% refund? To qualify, you simply need to complete the Linguistics language learning sprint. More than 30,000 people around the world have already participated in the past 2 years of Linguistics challenges, and many have seen drastic changes in their language learning levels. As I've stated before, I previously used Linguistics to improve my German. I took German in university, but after taking a couple years of break, I realized that my German level had gotten pretty bad. I started taking German lessons with Linguistics, and I saw my levels exceed what they previously were. Linguistics offers lessons taught by native speakers of English, French, Spanish, German, and Business English, and they offer lessons for all levels of language learning. Best of all, Linguistics offers dozens of lessons every single day, so you can take a lesson at the best time for you. Linguistics lessons are small, with only about 3 students per class, and all the materials are provided. These include downloadable PowerPoint slides, practice exercises, and the learning plan. Furthermore, Linguistics offers targeted feedback for each student after every lesson they complete. If you're interested in the Linguistics language sprint, you have 2 options. The first is the super sprint, where learners complete 30 days of lessons per month for 3 months and then receive a 100% refund. The second option is the regular sprint, where learners complete 15 lessons per month for 3 months and then receive a 50% refund. Additionally, learners who complete the sprint in English are eligible to take the Cambridge Online Speaking Test. This summer sprint starts on July 1st, 2020, and if you want to participate, you need to sign up by June 15th, 2020. A €49 deposit is required in order to secure your spot in the sprint, but you can get €10 off by using the link in the description box. Space in the sprints are limited, so I suggest that you check out the Linguistics Instagram account to see the past experiences of other Linguistics participants. Okay, before we move forward and actually take a look at all the books that I want to show you, I think I'm going to need to take a moment to organize them into more manageable chunks. Stand by. Let's start with linguistics books. These are my linguistics books. It's not a huge library. I kind of have kept the books that I found the most interesting. Long story short, I majored in linguistics in university, so at one point I imagine I probably had like 20 textbooks, but these are the ones that I kept because I found the most interesting. The Sounds of Language. Where did I get this book? Psych, these aren't books, they're magazines. I really like magazines when it comes to language learning because you can commit a very small amount of time to a magazine and still get a cohesive lesson, so to speak. I have 2 French magazines. I got them when I went to Quebec back in 2018. Next, I have my Afrikaans magazines. This one I got in 2014. These 2 magazines I actually just picked up at the end of March when I was in South Africa. These are Weg, which means like way in English, and they're basically travel magazines. Now let's look at some language-specific books. The first language we will look at is French. As you can see, I don't really have any French textbooks anymore. That's because I took French in elementary school and high school, and I haven't needed to study French in an academic or like textbooky way. As such, I mostly just have novels in French. I haven't read all of these novels, but off the top of my head, I've read this one. This is A Series of Unfortunate Events. This one I picked up in Belgium, I believe. Sur le bord de la rivière Piedra, je me suis assise et j'ai pleuré. On the side of the river Piedra, I sat and I cried. This was a book that I had to read in one of my French university literature courses. This one, Boule de Suif, from Maupassant, I had to read in one of my literature courses. I didn't like it. Berenice is a play that I had to read for French Lit. Didn't like it. Marguerite Yourcenar. I believe she's Belgian. No? Are you Belgian? Albert Camus. Jacques Prévert. He's a poet, and I once thought that I was into French poetry, and it turns out I'm not. So, haven't read these. These ones I have read, and I enjoyed. These are the 3 Harry Potter books. The first 3, The Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban. Did I already talk about this? This is the French version of Inferno by Dan Brown. I'm gonna read it one day, and I picked it up in Italy. On to the next language. This is my next biggest pile of books that I have in my language learning collection, and it is Afrikaans. It is the language I have invested the most in, weirdly, simply because there aren't a lot of online resources to learn Afrikaans, so I've had to supplement that with physical resources that I buy or that I harass other people into buying for me when they go to South Africa. So the majority of these books are like fiction, but I do have some Afrikaans textbooks. I've talked about these before. It's from the Afrikaans Sonder Grenzen textbook series that is used to teach children Afrikaans in South Africa. This is an Afrikaans dictionary, a klein woordenboek. This is a collection of books that I bought over the years going to South Africa. This one is way too advanced for me. These ones I bought on my recent trip to South Africa in March, and I plan on reading them at some stage. This one I'm reading right now. It's called Emma and the Geheime Gang, which translates to Emma and the Secret Passageway. Basically, it's about this girl named Emma who goes to a boarding school, and then she discovers that there's some crazy plot to like fatten up all the students. It kind of reminds me of Hansel and Gretel. Die Onzichtbare Man, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. I didn't read this in English, so I don't know why I thought I would be able to read it in Afrikaans, but we can dream. I think this is some sort of teacher's guide that I picked up. I don't know why. Yeah, some sort of curriculum. Natuurwetenschappen. On to the next language. The next language that populates my bookshelf is German. I have some German textbooks that I used when I was in university. This one I used in first year. This one I used in second year, German grammar drills. I wish I could tell you that I finished this book. Oh, I finished some of it, look. But I also wish I could tell you that it helped me with my German grammar. I'm sure it probably does for normal people, but my German grammar is still awful. So, this was an intermediate textbook that I picked up a couple years after I finished German in university and then decided I wanted to continue with German. As you can see, I didn't finish it, but I got through a majority of it. 240 pages, that's not bad. This is the first novel I attempted to read in German, Tintenherz. I believe in English it's called Inkheart or something. Oh, I've gotten 75 pages. I actually like this book, and I'm going to continue to read it one day. I also have Harry Potter in German. One day I will read it. The next language is Italian. I have one textbook that I used in my second or third year of Italian. I took Italian all 4 years of university. I also have this, Italian Reading and Comprehension. Is that what it's called? Yes. I've used this textbook from time to time just to grow my vocabulary, but I did find this textbook a little bit easy. This was another textbook that I believe somebody got me for Christmas because I asked for it. The Ultimate Italian Review and Practice. I got about a third through it, so maybe I'll return to it one day. I keep saying, oh, I'm going to return to that book, but Michael, you can't return to all of them, can you? Not at the same time. I have Harry Potter again in Italian. How many languages do I have Harry Potter in? Just 3. English, French. No, 4. English, French, German, and Italian. This is like a murder mystery, like kids find a dead body, like that kind of story. I think I started reading it, but I don't know why I stopped. Oh, Russian, my good frenemy. I do have some Russian textbooks. This was the first Russian textbook I bought. I used it, and then I stopped using it because it got too advanced too quickly, and then I started reusing it again. These 2 books are actually part of a 3-book series from Living Language. Actually, Andy Roberts gave these to me. I'll leave his contact information, maybe his Twitter. I don't know if he wants me to do that. Anyway, I'll do it anyway. Over here. You can check them out. These are actually really good textbooks. This is one that is not. This is just Russian grammar, and it's in all of its glory. So I found it very dense and I haven't used it very much, but maybe I will one day. Motif of the video. My mother was in Cuba and happened upon this book. It is a book about Cuban history in Russian. Last but not least, this is a Russian book that I recommend. I've used the German and Italian versions of this book. I plan on using this to continue to grow my skills in Russian after I complete my kind of beginner tasks. These are my Danish books. If anybody has been following me on Twitter, I have kind of had like a love affair with Danish. Like I haven't fully committed to Danish, but I've been interested enough to kind of dabble in Danish, and then my dabble turned into like, oh my god, I've completed a beginner's course in Danish. This is a book that I saw online and thought was really cool, so immediately bought it. This is a book that I bought when I was in Denmark. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to. I don't know how many times I said that, but another book that I have that I'm going to read is this book. It's another kid's book. Okay, those are all the language-specific books that I have on my bookshelf, but lucky for you, we're not done, because I have a bunch of random books in languages that I am not studying that just populate my bookshelf. The first one is Arabic for Dummies. I have since decided that I don't really like the Dummies series in order to learn languages, mostly because they don't teach. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Haven't used it, and don't think I will, so we'll not be adding that to the counter. A textbook that I have that I want to use is this one. I've always, I'm not gonna say that. I don't know why I bought this. Maybe I thought I was learning Spanish. I go through phases with Spanish. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna learn it, and then I obviously don't. But I have it in case, for when I decide. This is a textbook I used recently. Teach Yourself is one of my favorite language learning series of textbooks. And in addition to Spanish, Finnish is also in my 5-year plan for language learning, so I will probably return to this one. The final book. It was very cheap, so I just decided to pick it up. I have no immediate plans to learn Danish, this isn't Danish. Because of my knowledge in Afrikaans, I find Dutch to be pretty simple, and I kind of use this textbook as well as the Dutch language as a little bit of a therapeutic release. Whenever I'm feeling, whenever I'm not able to focus on my current target language, I allow myself to dabble in Dutch. Those are all the books that I have. No, it's not. There's more, but they're not here. There's probably a collection of textbooks in my childhood bedroom. There's a whole bunch of digital books on my computer. And now the fun part begins. I get to put those books back on their respective shelves before people come home and realize I've made a mess of the kitchen. As usual, thank you for watching the Polyglot Files. I have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram that you can check out if you'd like to. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!